On this episode of Fantasy NFL Today, we are back after a short break, back in action. And on this very episode, I just wanted to drop the boss's picks as a separate episode on its own. The boss has four picks for everybody out there. If you're in the gambling or in the betting market, he's giving you 4 picks. 3 of those will be against the spread. There's a total involved in there as well. And then at the end, we're also going to tack on 2 of his favorite teasers. So again, if you're into the betting market or the gambling market, you'll want to get these picks for week 11. And then our next episode will be strictly for fantasy football purposes. We'll talk about who to start and who to sit as we head into week 11 here on Fantasy NFL Today. And it all starts now. All right, after a 2-week layoff, we all know exactly what that music means. We welcome back the boss, Nicky Bada Bing, to the show. Nice and refreshed because we still have 7 weeks of the regular NFL action to go, to get through. We still have 7 full weeks to go. Although we haven't put out a show in 2 weeks, if you've been following me on Twitter at the Talking Sunday handle, we have continued to put out the boss's picks for all of the listeners and all of my followers. But we're back on the air, and it is time to close out the season on a hot streak. We are overdue. So, boss man, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be back. Glad you'll take me back after my dismal performance while we were taking a break.
Oh, it wasn't you. I took the break as well. I had a little layoff there, just a little exhaustion kicking in and all that stuff, and personal life matters. So I needed a little break to get my brain right as well. So it's a welcome back for all of us after this 2 weeks, and glad to hear your voice again. And I'm kind of hoping that this 2-week layoff period here just gave us a nice little hit the reset button, breathe some fresh oxygen in our brains, and let's go.
It was our bye week.
It was 2 bye weeks, but
yeah.
When
one was yours and one was mine. They were back to back.
Yeah, there you go. So so hopefully that kind of breathes some fresh life into here, and I'm excited to get back to it.
So yeah, I'm very determined and ready to make the comeback and get to 500.
Great. That's what I want to hear, because we have a big week here in week 11. I think we only have 2 teams on the bye week, the Broncos and the Rams. So we have a pretty full slate here. What's that, 15 games, right? With 2 teams out? Yes, 15 games. Full slate right before Turkey Day. We have Turkey Day next week, the big Thanksgiving. And a side note there, one of my favorite things to do on Thanksgiving, we do teasers on this show all the time. I love, and I don't know if the audience knows that this is even an available option for a lot of people out there, the 10-point teaser where you have to select 3 teams.
3-team 10-pointer. Yeah, I love those.
I don't recommend it on a normal weekend because, anything could really happen with these teasers. But I like the 10-point teaser on Thanksgiving because there's 3 games and it keeps me occupied all day long. So something I'm real excited for. It's just more of a fun thing to do than to be serious and get ahead in these, seasonal long bets. But yeah, we have a full slate for week 11. We have the Bears, the Bengals, the Giants, and Texans returning from their bye. And I did a little more digging. 10 of the 13 games this week are outdoors. And I'm seeing a lot of rain across the country this week. So I think that's something we might have to keep our eye on, right?
Oh, absolutely. Pay attention to the weather forecast. We've been talking about that for the past month, ever since November began. And it's time, and it will play a factor if conditions are bad enough, which is why you have to pay attention to those. We have the disadvantage of doing it 3-4 days out in advance, so it's a little difficult to project the weather. But as you approach 24-hour period, you'll know exactly what the conditions are, and you can make a smarter play.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because I remember a couple weeks ago when we had a game, I believe it was Cleveland, we thought it was going to rain, and we thought that would, I think we took, or I did at least, I don't remember if you did, the total in that. It was the Cleveland, when Baker Mayfield threw the Hail Mary before halftime, the one we lost, the under.
Right.
That game was supposed to rain, and it never, on Thursday it said it was supposed to rain in Cleveland, and it never rained. So
right.
To your point, yes, but that is something to keep an eye on as we get closer to the weekend. Just something I noticed on Thursday, though, that we're seeing a lot of rainy spots all over the country. Temperatures are dropping, and like I said, 10 of the 13 games are outdoors, which is, I think, pretty crazy. So,
it's football season, man.
We're in the middle of November. That's football weather. So, all right. So before we get to the picks, let's just remind the listeners again. I want you to give the audience your top picks of the week. We've started with 3. But I think this week we have a little more, right?
Correct. We got 4. We got 4 picks, and then we're going to top it off with 2 teasers for the holidays. And speaking of which, happy Thanksgiving to all your followers and listeners, and everyone eat well and stay healthy.
There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that, and happy Thanksgiving to you, the boss man. I can't wait to indulge in that. It's my favorite holiday, actually. It's built for being lazy, and you wake up, you watch that parade, you just cook, you smell it all day, you have some wine or some beer, eat a big food. Football is on all day long. It's just it's my favorite holiday. So okay, so we have 4. So you're telling us we got 4 straight picks today, because as the audience knows, any of your picks can be against the spread, the total, money line, parlay, teaser, whatever you choose. So today we're going to go with 4 picks. We have, I think it's 3 picks against the spread and the total, so we'll go with those 4 first. And then the boss is going to tack on 2 bonus teasers at the end for all of you people out there that like teasers. Teasers can be great if used the right way. So we got a lot to get through. But what we like to do here is we like to go in reverse order. So we'll start with the boss's 4th play of the week, and we'll work his way up to the best bet at pick number 1. So with that, it is now time to scan the board and take a ride. Let's get down to the business and whack the book here in week 11. I can't believe it's week 11.
Yeah.
The season really does fly by.
We are on the turn for home shortly.
Oh, man, and we really need to pick it up here. So let's start with pick number 4, boss man. Who do we got?
I'm using the total in the Green Bay game, and we're going under the 47.5 Green Bay at Minnesota.
So we have the Green Bay Packers coming off a 17-0 win, going to Minnesota, also coming off a win of their own against the Chargers. A much needed win for those Vikings after having a 2-game losing streak. And we're going to go with the total of the under 47.5 points. And why are we doing the under here?
They're coming off of winning at San Diego, which to me was a big win, and coming home. So there's a little bit of a letdown for them. The Green Bay defense is very good. Top 5, top 3. And coming off the shutout of Russell, it was his first game back, but it's going to be a defensive game. It should be a running game, a defensive game.
Yeah, and now that you brought this to the attention of the audience here, I'm looking at Pro Football Focus's grades, and now that we're in week 11, I can trust these grades, the grading system, a little more. There's a lot more data put into these algorithms or whatever. They have Green Bay's defense ranked as the 5th best defense overall, and the Minnesota Vikings defense ranked at the 9th best overall defense. So you have 2 teams here now that are both within the top 10, which is great for the under, right?
That's my point of view.
Yeah.
One of the defenses is going to rise up.
On top of that, the safety, I believe, Harrison Smith, will be returning from the COVID list. He's a pretty good player. I would even put him in the elite level of safety play, at least. So that's a plus.
He's definitely an upgrade. There's no question about that.
So that's a plus there for that 47.5. I like it. I agree with you. Aaron Jones is out of the game, so that certainly helps. Although I think people are going to put a lot more stock into that. He is a very, very, very good running back. But that backup, A.J. Dillon, that guy is a monster.
He's not bad. So
he's a monster. And I think
So-
you're right. I think they're going to run. They're going to run with A.J. Dillon. They're probably, I think the Packers brought in another running back. I think they signed Kerryon Johnson to the practice squad. But they're going to run the ball. Minnesota, that's what they do all the time. So we already know Minnesota's going to run the ball a lot as well. And yeah, I like the theory of the two top 10 defenses showing up here indoors. So there's no weather concerns. I like it.
And the stat to back up the under is the Packers are under in their last 7.
Wow. The last 7 in a row, the Packers are under?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like that a lot, actually. So 7-0, the last 7 games the Packers have played, they have covered the under.
So, and as I said, Minnie's coming off the West Coast big win at Dago, so I'm expecting a letdown, even though they are at home. If anything, their defense is going to have to rise up and keep Rodgers under wraps. Otherwise, the Green Bay defense is going to shut them down. So,
all right. Well, that all is making sense to me. I'm on board with that one. I have to back you there. I like the Green Bay, Minnesota Vikings under the 47.5 for all the reasons the boss had just laid out for us. Boss man, what are we looking as our third best bet of the week?
we're going to Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
So, we're going to hop back on that bandwagon. All sorts of emotional stuff going on there with Cam and Rivera, former coach, and again, I'm going with the letdown. Wash is now on the road, going to coming off that big win they had.
So this makes a little more sense to me than the Vikings letdown. The only reason I don't think the Vikings are in such of a letdown mode is because, like I said, the Vikings were coming off a 2-game losing streak, so I think they really needed that game against the Chargers. This one, though, the Washington football team coming off on a huge 10-point win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, definitely in store for a huge letdown.
Right.
And like you
and
said,
they lost Young, like you said, they lost the best defensive guy, Young.
Chase Young goes down for the I don't remember what the injury was, but he is out for the year. He's on the IR. Both tight ends for the Washington football team are banged up. I think Ricky Seals-Jones has a hip problem, and I don't think Logan Thomas, who everybody freaking loves, I don't know why, he's one of those guys that there's some football players in football that people fall in love with for no reason at all. Logan Thomas is one of those tight ends that everybody loves. He's also, I don't think he's ready to come off the injured reserve list. And like you said, you mentioned Ron Rivera, but Cam Newton, I mean, this is like destiny, right? Like Ron Rivera goes against his old Carolina team, and then the Panthers just signed Cam Newton last week, who nobody thought he was even going to have a role in that game. And then he did he have? I know he had 1 touchdown. I don't remember if he scored twice.
He had 2 TDs.
2.
He did the I'm back. And,
and so
he's going to start this week. So
right, he took. So I was reading reports. He took the most first team reps this week in practice. So he's definitely probably going to start. He's going to have vengeance on his mind against this Washington team. And what are we looking at? The Carolina minus 3.5, right?
3.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah.
I love this pick. It's one of my picks this week. I'll definitely be playing. I was just kind of holding out to see if maybe it comes down. I don't think it's going to. I think if anything, we'll probably move up to 4, right?
It's drifting that way.
Yeah. So I'm all about this bet. And if anybody listening to this podcast, I think it's probably in your best interest, if you like this game, to lay this as soon as possible, because I don't think it's going to go to 3. If anything, again, it's going to drift up to 4, 4.5. So
yeah.
Anything else on this one?
I think I had one last little pickle stat here.
Take it out of the pickle jar.
Wash is, let's see here. Wash, no covers in their last 4, and they're 1-7 against the line before the Tampa upset.
Right, yeah. So I have that written down as well, that now they are 2-7 against the spread.
Coming off the big Tampa win.
Right.
So.
That it worries me. It's just whenever one team is so lopsided against the spread record, So they were 1-7. They got another win. They got a win last week. Now they're 2-7 against the spread. That still worries me because I think as the season goes on, I'm at least in the boat that they try to always kind of balance that. They kind of want everybody to be, at the end of the year around a 500 record. Obviously, that doesn't happen, but
yeah. Of course, that's the ultimate goal, right? But
that's just my only.
I just think in this scenario, with Wash having to travel to Cairo with the big emotional lift of Cam, and they get off to the good start, and it's off to the races. And Wash tanks.
You just reminded me. That's another interesting point about this game. It's not even just the Cam Newton thing. Carolina just blew the snot out of. Arizona last week. That type of dominating win with a healthy Christian McCaffrey now as well, that's going to transfer, I think, into this week. That type of momentum, the team kind of started hot, then they went a downward trajectory, and now they're kind of like on the rise. So I could see this game actually, it might actually get out of control like it did last week for the Arizona Cardinals. So I like this pick a lot. The more we talk about it, the more I like it.
Yeah. So she's get it early, like you said, before it starts hitting fours.
Yeah, as soon as I hit the stop button on this episode, I'm gonna go ahead and lock that in. So, all right, let's move on. Let's get to the second lock of the week. Your second best play this week. Who do we got?
You're not gonna believe this, but I know. Early in the season, I was pounding Jacksonville.
I
was saying, the pigs, bet against them, forever.
You're doing it.
So I'm doing an about face. I'm saying Jack plus the 6.5.
Why?
So, I watched the games, and it just seemed to me that Jack is on the upswing finally. A little bit.
They're on the upswing. They just lost by 6 points to Indy last week. It was one of your teasers.
They're being competitive is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, before they were, barely a college team.
That's
now
true.
They're starting to look like a pro team a little bit. 6.5 points at home is a lot of fucking points, no matter who's playing who.
And not only that, they did beat Buffalo just 2 weeks ago.
The last couple of weeks, they've been very competitive, so they're getting their act together a little bit. And San Fran's coming off the big Ram win, right? Mm-hmm. And having to travel.
Yes,
to the east.
We do have a west to east game. I keep forgetting that. And San Fran's coming off that short rest, that Monday Night Football rest.
Yes. So 6.5 points at home, Jack. Theoretically, if anything, one of the two defenses is going to shut somebody down. But again, both have a significant lack of offensive threat besides run.
Well, yeah, San Fran, they always have a huge run advantage. I'm looking at that sheet right now, 77% run advantage against Jacksonville. But I usually get worried when the other team is all in the red, negative, advantages. I'm not seeing a negative advantage for Jacksonville. It's very average. So that actually is a positive. That's making me feel better about this. And then to your point, the way I gamble is anytime I see a game at 6 or 6.5 and it just stays there, bounces between 6, 6.5, 6, and never really gets the 7. To me, that is always the books trying to lure you into a teaser. So for me, when I saw this game, it was either I take San Francisco or I pass, because I don't really feel that comfortable betting on a team like Jacksonville. I know they've been competitive. I just still, I can't do it. So I passed. But if I were going to take this game, I think I would just take the Jacksonville money line, because I really believe in that theory that they try to lure people in with those teasers. And if you can tease San Fran down to a pick or minus a half a point, they're going to be on so many parlay cards or teaser cards and parlay cards this weekend. So I do agree with you. I think with the points here, I think it's safe to take those points. I think, but I think if I was going to play this game, like I said, it'd be San Fran or pass for me, or I'd rather just gamble, put a little bit on the Jacksonville money line.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that'll happen come Sunday when I'm punching away at FanDuel.
Yeah.
But however, for the purposes of our show,
Yeah.
I'm taking the points.
Yeah, and
So,
sometimes AG just needs to, talk these things out. I'm feeling better about it as we keep talking it out too. You just say Jacksonville, and I get like that visceral like I want to puke feeling inside of me. So,
right.
But we talk it out a little bit here on the show, and I'm starting to come up. So, I like it. Let's get some let's go down to Duval and get some Jacksonville spirit in us. Maybe we'll rent one of those cabanas with the hot tubs up there. You ever see those?
Yeah.
The fans in their jorts just hanging out in the pool up there.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's insane.
It is. Might be a little nippy though down there.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I wonder if they're heated or not. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to try it out one day, but
sure.
All right. So, anything else on this game?
No.
Okay. We do. I'm just looking over real quick again. James Robinson has not practiced all week. But on the other side as well, Elijah Mitchell, the starting running back for the 49ers, has a broken finger. So he'll probably play. But, I don't know if James Robinson's a good running back. I don't know if that affects my feelings on this game one way or the other. Yeah, I think I'm in. I think I like this. But again, I think if I do play this, I'm just going to take the money line.
That's why we live in America. And, I'm Nicky Bada Bing, and you're, Anthony the, what are you anyway?
The flip-flopper.
Ah, okay, the flip-flopper.
Like I said, you say Jacksonville, and I'm like, no way in hell. And then, and then I flop over. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, just don't blame me if they tank out. So
no, I know. Again, it's my philosophy with the 6 and the 6.5. It just sits there. I mean, I know for a fact that they do that during the playoffs.
Sounds like my 41.5.
Yes, it's the same like concept. Like I'm looking at right now, they have the Niners -6 at the -115. So to me, they're still luring in Niners bettors. They're saying, "Hey, come take the Niners," and they're making that extra nickel because it's more expensive. But they're not bumping it up to 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile in the background, everybody's going to tease them down to a pick, and they might, it's not a fact that it will happen, but that will be the team that busts the parlay cards.
It'll be good for the bookies if Jack wins the game outright. That's for sure. You were right about the teaser cards and parlay cards and all that. It wipes all that shit out.
Because I know for a fact that they do that during the playoffs. It's the easiest lure of all time because every Joe Schmo is betting the playoffs. So I fall
into that trap. I'm a teaser lover.
That happened to me when in the early stages. So it's definitely a thing. Because I'm looking at all the other spreads and everything's pretty low. I'm just scanning the board right now. 2.5 pick 1. There's a 10.5 1 4.5 3.5 3. A lot of these games are low this week, so that's definitely one. If any of them, that I think they're suckering people in for that tease. So.
There's only 3 double digits. Cleve's at 11.5 or so. Tenny's a solid 10.
Yeah.
And who's Tampon? They're what?
11 and 11. Yeah. No, it might be 10.5, 11, depending on where you're getting it.
Yeah.
So. All right. So enough about the Jacksonville game, or we're on the best bet, right?
That's where we're headed.
All right. Well, you're driving the car, so where's this car stopping for pick number 1, the lock of the week?
Going with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Back to Minnesota, he's going.
Yeah. Yep.
But okay, so I just said back to Minnesota. I don't want to confuse the listeners. The pick is Green Bay, correct? You said Rodgers in Green Bay.
Green Bay on the road. Green Bay at Minnesota. Take Green Bay. What do you want to use for the line there? What are they, about a...
I'm looking at the Packers are favored by a point on the road, but it's the thing I'm looking at, they're -117, so that could be different on a standard book.
Okay, so
it might be 1.5. What are you looking at?
1.5 sounds about right.
Okay, so Packers minus 1.5. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because like again, nobody's paying 17 cents for the one. So, okay, so Packers minus 1. Why are we taking the Packers? I know we touched on this game a little bit, but
Well, there's a ton of stats, and I know every time I quote these stats, it seems like it goes the other way. However, these are pretty significant. Green Bay is 9-1 in their last 10 versus the spread.
okay, so that's this year. The 10 games that they played, they have covered the spread 9 times out of the 10.
That's correct.
Okay.
In their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota at home in their last 8 is 1-7 against the spread.
Oh wow! So these are two opposite ends of the spectrum here, or that work in our favor for this bet.
Yeah, those are two pretty significant trends, if you ask me.
So hold on. Green Bay is 9-1 against the spread their last 10, and Minnesota is 1-7 at home their last 8 games at home. Is what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay, so we have two. Okay, yes. So we have two Titans. Basically, the Packers are a covering machine this year, and the Minnesota Vikings. See why I'm stumbling on this and why I'm trying to put this together in my head, because I just can't believe that the Vikings are 1-7 at home their last 8 games, because I don't have the stat in front of me, but I know for a fact that the Minnesota Vikings, ever since they've gotten Mike Zimmer as their head coach, they have been the best covering team in the NFL, right alongside Bill Belichick before Tom Brady left for Tampa Bay. So the fact that they're 1-7 at home their last 8 games is just mind blowing to me.
Well, it's the fact.
I got you. For me, this game, I look at Green Bay as one of the more elite teams in the league. I took Green Bay last week against the Seahawks, just because I think the Seahawks are one of the more overrated teams in the league as well. So that was also like two comments colliding for me. But Green Bay to me is one of the more elite teams. But Minnesota can be weird for me. I love when I bet them. I love when I'm on their side, because I've been under the impression that they're one of the best covering teams in the league. But they do have weeks where they just don't show up, and then they have weeks where they dominate. So
yeah.
To me, this game, as far as the spread goes,
that you're talking about sounds like it's a long-term stat. This is obviously a short-term flip right now. The way you're talking sounds like that's over the life of their coaching.
Yeah, no, it's Mike Zimmer. It's just since Mike Zimmer has been the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, which has been years now. I think 8 years at least, something like that. But I just, Minnesota is just is a solid team. They run, they have good weapons on the outside. They have solid. It's the defense to me that I think is pretty inconsistent, but for the most part, they're a pretty good defense. We talked about this. They're top 10 defense this year for that under. But I don't know. For me, this game is just it was kind of a toss up. So for me, it was a pass. But right. Again, you're the boss, and Green Bay. That 9-1 scares me. I'm not gonna lie. The 9-1 scares me.
Aaron Rodgers, he's coming off the week's rest. Bullshit COVID, and he got the rust out of him last week. Many, for what it's worth to anybody, it means something to me. Mini coming off of what I think was a big win at San Diego. West, and then, the travel involved with that. So,
yeah. I mean, the number I came up with was,
and like you said, many can be funny. They never seem to fully rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I do think Kirk Cousins will be under a bit of pressure from that Packers front seven. It is a division game. That's another thing that kind of scares me, because these division games, how they can go. It doesn't matter how bad the teams are. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. But I do have a number. I have the Packers pegged as a 5.5 point favorite. And then if you factor in Minnesota's field for whatever it's worth, I don't know if you get to Green Bay -1. So as far as that number goes, I like Green Bay. This one's kind of just like a coin flip for me. But hey, Green Bay -1, best bet. Anything else on this one? Aaron Jones is out too, by the way, the running back. Does that worry you at all?
No, not at all. Not when you got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and AJ Dillon. I sent out a tweet last week. I think I said, "Dear God, someone give AJ Dillon 20 plus carries." That guy's he has bigger thighs than Saquon Barkley. Quads. Like this dude,
very capable backup.
Yeah,
probably a starter on most other teams.
Yeah, and I actually think there was a game last year, just real quick. I think it was against the Titans. AJ Dillon, they gave him 22 carries, and I think he went for like over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
So completely capable.
Yeah.
Okay, so Green Bay Packers -1 as the best bet. So just to review those 4 picks real fast, we have the Green Bay, Minnesota under the 47.5 as the 4th pick. The Carolina Panthers -3.5 against the Washington Football Team for the 3rd pick. The Jacksonville Jaguars +6.5 at home against the Niners for the 2nd pick. And then we have the Green Bay Packers -1 as the best bet, the lock of the week against the Minnesota Vikings. So with those 4 picks in the books, the ink's dry. There's no going back. Close that up. We have 2 teasers for all the people that like teasers out there. Anybody who's interested in a teaser, we want to give you guys teasers as a separate. We're going to put this against the permanent record as well, right? We want to put this towards the record.
Yeah, teasers, absolutely.
I think we're
I
think we're 6 or 7 games under 500 this year. So if you want, it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to put the teasers on against the record.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Must have faith.
All right. So the boss likes these teasers a lot, and all the people that like teasers, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like teasers, so that's why I kind of want to separate them now. But there's a ton of people that love teasers. Let's get to the teasers. We have 2 of them, right? So let's go with the second favorite teaser, not the best one. Give us your second favorite one first.
All the stats on the Green Bay and under game, I thought was worthy enough to tease the game. It's, and the total. So Green Bay teased.
Okay.
With Green Bay under 47.5.
Man, we are swimming in this game. This is a big game for you this weekend. Huge. Yeah. We have the Packers, the -1. We have the under straight up, and now we're teasing the Packers. So let me guess what game's going to be on your TV this weekend. So the teaser brings Green Bay up to 5. And then if we're teasing it with that under, now we have the under sitting at 53.5, which I really like. If you believe Green Bay is going to win the game, then the 5 doesn't matter. I have always lived under the rule to never cross 0. And for those of you listening that don't know what that means, if there's a team favored by 3 and you tease them, it goes through 0 with the 6 points to +3. I don't believe you're really ever gaining that much value there. It's still a field goal game. In this case, the 5 is a little, that's obviously outside of the field goal game, and it's over the next key number, which is the 4 as well. So I do like that. Yeah.
I would debate you on your theory. 3 is a key number. And with the fact that they're a road team going against a home team, and NFL, anything can freaking happen. And these games are coming down to last-second field goals and going into overtimes. So I would debate you on your theory about going through 0.
I completely disagree with that. Like, if you look at the game, the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets, they sit at 3. If you tease the Dolphins from -3 to a +3 on the road against the Jets, I don't believe you're gaining much value. It's still a 3-point game. Whereas if you tease the Jets up to 9, that's a big difference than from sticking around at the bottom of the game there. You know what I mean?
Yes. And your line of thinking is, just as good as the next person's line of thinking. So, we're going to have to agree to disagree, I guess, on that outlook.
I just think like if you're going to tease, you should. I don't know. I've heard that through numerous other pros as well, and I'm not trying to discredit for you thinking that way. It's just
no, I understand.
I never even realized that until somebody had said it, and then that made sense. So I think I was listening to the RJ Bell Dream preview.
I just think the 3 number is a key number.
Oh, it's definitely a key number. That's not what I'm debating. I'm debating.
No, I understand.
If you're getting much value out of that, though, if you go from -3 to +3, there's not really much.
Look, it's hard enough to win one game, and here we are trying to put 2 games together to win one bet.
Right.
So I'm trying to get a best lock as I can involved in there. So.
Right. And well, what I was trying to say ultimately was I don't usually go through 0, but the fact that this game you're getting 5, I'm okay with because now this is me. I'm okay with because you've gotten past the first key number 3. And you've gotten past, in my opinion, the second key number at that 4, because why 4 is a key number? Because if the game is 7-3, that's a 4-point difference right there.
Yeah.
You're over even 4.5, and now you're at 5, which is like the no man's land. So I like that at 5, especially in a division game where I think it's going to be close. We're going to probably see a defensive struggle like we've talked about. So, and then, obviously with those defenses, we just boosted that total up another 6 points. So I like the teaser. I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the second teaser of the week. What is the best teaser of the week?
2 big home favorites: Tampon -11 and Tenney. What are you using at Tenney?
Tennessee is sitting at 11, so we'll get that down. All right, Tampa is sitting at 11, so that will get down to 5, and then Tennessee is sitting at
like a 10.
10, so we'll get that down to 4.
Right.
So we have the Tennessee Titans -4, teased with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home on Monday Night Football -5. Real quick, why are we liking this one so much?
Well, I expect Tom to bounce back off the humiliating wash loss off their bye and at home against the lowly Giants. Again, just got to win the game, basically.
So the Giants are coming off a bye week, and I believe the week before that they beat the Raiders, right?
Giants stink. Come on.
As an Eagles fan, I hate the Giants.
Giants stink.
They do, but they are coming off that bye week, and that's what
That's fine. They could be competitive. They're not beating Tampa at Tampa.
Tom Brady's history against the New York Giants, though.
Ancient history.
I'm telling you, some teams, some players, some coaches, they have people's cards, but there is some good stuff here. Rob Gronkowski looks like he's returning. I believe he practiced today and yesterday, so it looks like he's going to play. One thing the other thing that concerns me about Tampa Bay is Vita Vea, who is an absolute mauler on that defensive line for Tampa Bay. It doesn't look like he'll be playing. I think he went down with a pretty serious injury, or he'll be out for like 1 to 2 weeks. I don't know how serious it is, but that's another concern to me. But yeah, I mean, they're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They could probably blow out anybody if they really want to.
Right.
And they're coming off, I think, 2 straight losses now. They had a loss before the bye week, had the bye, and then they lost to Washington. So they're not messing around. I think that they're going to, they're probably looking for blood, to be honest.
Yep.
So
Arians, calling them a dumb team and all. So
yeah. Okay. So Tampa tees down to 5, and then Tennessee tees down to 4. What are we liking in Tennessee?
Oh, it's against Houston.
Yeah. Houston.
Tennessee's at home. Who's quarterbacking for Houston?
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back. So that's another team coming off their bye week.
So
we have Houston coming off the bye.
Tennessee's got too much offensive firepower for him.
Tyrod Taylor, I think he played the game before their bye week, and they lost to the Dolphins 17-9. Wow. Ugh.
Yeah. He had a ton of interceptions or something, I think.
Yeah, he did actually, because in one of my dynasty leagues, fantasy, I had to start him. I had no other choice, and I think he threw 2 or 3 interceptions. Yeah, and Tennessee is probably the
two
most.
Two big home favorites. Tampon coming off the loss, and against very weak teams, which is why they're huge favorites. So you tease them down. So that's why I got them hooked up together.
Any worries about Derrick Henry still being missing from action here?
No, too much offensive firepower for that team.
Yeah, Tennessee, man, they are just the grittiest team in the league. Every time you think they're up against it and they're going to lose, I feel like they always win.
I love that coach Vrabel with that attitude he brings.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, I like this teaser, but I might even put a little on Tennessee just minus the 10. They might just blow them out.
They're capable.
Yeah.
So that's always a
Tannehill's still clicking. I think Julio Jones hasn't done shit this year at all.
Right.
Him being out doesn't even matter in my opinion. But A.J. Brown is healthy. We have Adrian Peterson's filled in nicely, and the other running backs that they're filtering in there. And yeah, it's Houston. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have, just to review real fast, we have the best teaser. We have the Titans minus the 4 with Tampa Bay minus 5, and then we have Green Bay plus 5 teased with the under in that game to 53.5. So with that about wraps up all the picks for this week. Boss man, unless you got anything else to say or any other wisdom advice that you'd like to grace us with every week, thanks for coming on the pod.
Appreciate it. And again, enjoy your gobble. Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. It was lovely hearing your voice again after these 2 weeks. And hopefully with the new holiday season coming around here, we green. That's all I want to see going forward. So
Go Birds.
Go Birds. We'll talk to you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye. All right, well, that's our show for today. I hope everybody that is interested in the gambling and betting market has gotten some type of knowledge or information from the boss's picks. And just to review again, he has the Packers -1 as his best bet of the week, the lock of the week. He has the Jacksonville Jaguars +6.5 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. The Carolina Panthers -3.5 with Cam Newton looking for revenge against his old coach as the Panthers head in a positive trajectory. And then he has the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings under the total of 47.5 as his 4 straight picks. And then he has 2 teasers, the Tennessee Titans minus the 4 teased with Tampa Bay -5 in a 6-point teaser. And then he closes it out with the Green Bay Packers +5 teased with the under in the same game, 53.5 points. As always, as they like to say, bet responsibly, especially if you're listening to the picks on this show. The picks haven't been the greatest this year, but again, if you look at any of the other pros, it hasn't been that great for them. I think RJ Bell and company are still under 500. Colin Cowherd is like 10 games under 500. He sucks anyway. But you don't always have to take the picks. It's all about the information that we're giving out to you here on the pod, and then you take that information and do as you will. If you think we suck, again, fade it. If not, if something makes sense and it feels good in your gut, then take the bet. If not, do as you will, as I say. But until then, everyone go out and enjoy Thursday Night Football between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. And we will talk to you tomorrow.